Tonight, Londoners who've lost loved ones to the infected blood scandal demand justice. A 5-year inquiry into how tens of thousands of people contracted HIV or hepatitis via contaminated blood transfusions ended today. Many victims have since died.
It's awful, you know, she's not gonna... My mum was only 55 when she passed, right? She had such a long life left to live, and unfortunately that was stolen from her.
Good evening. It is widely considered to be the biggest treatment disaster in the history of the NHS, and today the long-running inquiry into the infected blood scandal came to a close. Tens of thousands of people were infected with HIV or hepatitis through contaminated blood transfusions between 1970 and 1991. Many Londoners were among those who were infected and who have since died. Nahidur Rahman's mother was infected with hepatitis, but it remained undiscovered for decades before her death. Today he told Sam Holder that he simply wants justice.
Throughout their childhood, Nahidur and his brother saw their mum get progressively more sick. For 24 years they had no idea why, until she was diagnosed with hepatitis C.
By that time it was far too late. She ended up getting on numerous treatments to try and get rid of the hepatitis, and every single thing failed. I was at the graveyard this morning. I tried to make it a habit, trying to see, just to pay her a visit on every Friday, and you know, it's awful. You know, she's not gonna. My mum was only 55 when she passed, right? She had such a long life left to live, and unfortunately that was stolen from her.
Nahidur's mum Sultana was given a blood transfusion at Newham Hospital after giving birth in 1987. She was likely one of the thousands infected during the contaminated blood scandal. NHS patients across the country were given blood products imported from the US, sourced from prisoners and drug addicts. Batches contained HIV and hepatitis C. It took decades of campaigning, but now final submissions have been made at the official inquiry into what happened. The scandal came to public attention in 2016 when victims and their families pressured the government to investigate and reveal the truth. By the following year, Prime Minister Theresa May announced a statutory public inquiry would be held. In October last year, the first compensation payments were made to about 4,000 surviving victims and widows, but not to parents and children. Sir Brian Langstaff, who's chairing the inquiry, said his findings will be announced in the autumn. There will be an interim report by Easter detailing further compensation.
It was a dreadful scandal, but what was more than that dreadful scandal was that the successive government departments or administrations refused to admit that they got it wrong.
These vials contain tributes from the families of those who died, an estimated 2,400 patients. For Nahidur, he feels he now has the obligation to stand up in his mum's name.
Her justice would be, you know, just being able to live a normal life, and unfortunately she couldn't do that. And for us, the family now, it's more about sort of making sure we get justice and make sure this doesn't happen again for anybody else.
Sam Holder, ITV News.